Typically, when something is aging well, the old adage is that it's aging like fine wine. You know, like Paul Rudd, Timothy Oliphant, and Rod Blagojevich. I'm just kidding on that last one. Well, in a case of a show like Saturday Night Live, that wine is aging like it's been mixed with 4-day opened Diet Coke and served with a moldy Hot Pocket with spoiled milk as dessert, especially when it comes to politics. Politics used to be a boon for SNL, specifically in election years. People looked forward to whatever biting political commentary SNL had in store for them that week. Now, not so much. Politics are more a bomb than a boon for SNL nowadays, at least in terms of quality, and there doesn't seem to be a clear answer as to why, but not any longer. Today we're diving in and figuring out why SNL is so bad at politics. Oh god, this is gonna hurt. I've been watching a lot of recent SNL political sketches during this primary season, and I mean a lot. So much so that I had to enter into comedy therapy. It was a little weird when I walked in and the therapist was wearing a clown nose, but it served its purpose. Throughout my viewings of the show, there were a couple issues that seemed to pervade every political sketch. The first and most obvious, glaring issue being the use of stunt casting. Stunt casting is when SNL inserts a famous celebrity to play a famous politician, and more often than not, the joke is lying in that setup. A famous celebrity is playing a famous politician. Let's look at Larry David's portrayal of Bernie Sanders, for instance. Now, I love Larry David. Curb Your Enthusiasm is one of my favorite shows ever, and while Seinfeld isn't my favorite show, it's obviously one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time. So my gripes with David as Sanders probably has more to do with the direction and writing of the sketches he appears in as the Vermont senator than David himself. Whenever Larry David plays Bernie, it feels like the only reason we're supposed to laugh is because the two look like each other. David gets nothing funny to say. He's given no nuance to the performance. He doesn't even get funny things to do in the act. He doesn't even get to make funny mannerisms or anything like that. The only joke when Larry David is playing Bernie Sanders, other than how bad it is that it's Larry David playing Bernie Sanders, and that both of them are old and bald and cranky and white, and we have a comedic goldmine right here. And Larry David isn't the only example of this tired joke. Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer, Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris, and Matt Damon as Brett Kavanaugh, while certainly inspired in some instances, are some of the other famous stilted stunt castings on SNL recently as well. While those are only a couple examples, almost every cold open has some sort of celebrity cameo that only furthers this point. Not only are the castings annoying and distracting, they show a real lack of faith in the cast as a whole, and it makes it harder to like the other cast members. Oftentimes, the celebrity is only used in these cold opens. The main cast members are relegated to and stuck with the rest of the show. Taking away these beginning opportunities for the cast to shine, in my opinion, makes it really hard for an audience member to get behind the rest of the cast for the rest of the show, especially since some people only watch from the cold open up until the end of the monologue, as those are the two segments that are likely to go viral, and why wouldn't they stop watching? The big celebrity cameo already happened, so why would they waste time watching the rest of the show? And when the show does use the cast members in the political sketches, the casting is spotty at best. Kate McKinnon is legitimately great and funny in any role she's in. That's because she's actually playing these politicians as the characters they are, instead of just playing Kate McKinnon as these politicians. But then they have somebody like Colin Jost play Pete Buttigieg, and it's just awful because they're essentially the same person. And I hate to say it, but it feels like the guy who gets tasked with playing Andrew Yang is only Andrew Yang because he's the only Asian actor they have and can get when they need to use Yang in a sketch. The fact that he's Asian seems to be the only joke they have for him too, which only makes matters worse. I'm sure if they could get somebody like Jackie Chan, I'm not being racist, I'm just using a famous Asian actor as an example, so please stop typing in the comments. Tasteless as that would be to play somebody like Yang, SNL would jump at the chance, just based on the current state the show is in right now. This is especially sad to me because of the star-making opportunities cast members used to get when it came to political castings. Jason Sudeikis as Joe Biden, Will Ferrell as George W. Bush, Jay Farrow as Barack Obama, and Tina Fey as Sarah Palin were just some of the many amazing political portrayals cast members used to partake in and make their own that we don't get anymore because stunt casting is far easier than writing real jokes. Casting a celebrity makes clips go viral, which is obviously more important than showcasing a cast talents and making something actually funny. Political sketches used to make stars of SNL cast members, but now they only seem to make the cast members' star fizzle out. And that's why we're stuck with watching James Corden and Jimmy Fallon in cold opens because of it. But Paul Rudd, don't worry, buddy, you can do no wrong. Scrumptious. Even if the stunt casting was less obnoxious, even if the show trusted its cast, there's only so much these actors can do, especially when the writing is not up to snuff. Without writing, there wouldn't be any sketches. Obviously, that's how this all works. If there weren't lines for these actors to say, it would just turn into the awful improv shows that Michael does in The Office.
Michael, what did you tell him?
Nothing.
Then why are his hands up? Bill?
He told me he couldn't show it to me, but he has a gun.
But for an hour and a half every Saturday night. What's vital here is having good writing. Anybody can write a sketch, anybody. But writing a good sketch is much harder. It's like the seminal film Ratatouille says throughout its duration.
Anyone can cook.
But fuck, some people really shouldn't. And this applies to the writers of SNL, at least when it comes to politics. Just like with stunt casting, the writing on SNL during these political sketches tend to scrape only the surface level, which is maddening because there's always a hint that there could be so much more. Let's look at one of the most recent SNL cold opens, the one that actually inspired this video, because I think it's a perfect representation of everything I've been talking about thus far. The skit starts out with the actor playing George Stephanopoulos saying that
President Trump has gone Super Saiyan,
which made me sick to my stomach 30 seconds in. One of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to comedy is the use of buzzwords in place of actual jokes, and starting this way doesn't exactly bode well for the rest of the sketch. All of the cast members, as the Democratic nominees, are introduced and head out to the floor as that one song from Space Jam plays. Yes, that song. Now, the use of a song like this could be used properly as a joke or as a way to set a scene, in an Eric Andre over-the-top kind of way. But here, it just feels lazy. There's no setup, there's no underlying joke, there's no point. All of the candidates come out, bobbing up and down, and we're just supposed to laugh because this ridiculous song that's played at sporting events is playing as they all head out. It's insulting. As we move on to the meat of the segment, you start to get a sense of where the quality of SNL's writing is truly at right now, especially when it comes to politics. Most of the jokes written in this sketch come off as surface level, dare I say lazy. A lot of these jokes amount to, haha, this candidate is this. Haha, it's funny because Bernie Sanders is old. Haha, it's funny because Andrew Yang is Asian. Tom Steyer, as played by Pete Davidson, is especially awful here because there's no attempt at making a joke about anything remotely relevant regarding Steyer or anything else in general. They make the joke that he's tripping on acid.
I'm sorry, I'm tripping balls right now.
Which feels more like a joke about Pete Davidson because they don't know anything about the candidate, and that's the joke. That to me is just so revolting. There are so many things you can make fun of Steyer about. He's in the race to make friends, his love affair with Bernie, etc. Copping out and using the excuse that you don't know anything about him, and then using the actual sketch to admit that you didn't do your work.
I don't know.
Instead of researching the candidate and actually writing something clever, copping out and using the excuse that you don't know anything about him, and then using the actual sketch to admit that just seems like the easy way out, instead of researching the candidate and actually writing something clever. Actually, not understanding the candidate seems to be a running theme here. They have Bernie say he's 4chan's favorite candidate.
Let me ask you this. Then how come I'm the most popular guy on 4chan?
Yang shoots a money gun. The only real candidate they rag on that's kind of accurate is Biden, but at this point, I'm putting that more on Jason Sudeikis' impression than anything else. Since he's not a cast member of the show anymore, that's yet another example of stunt casting. The writers make it obvious how much attention they put into the candidate, specifically into the one candidate that they support. And that leads me to my next point. It's obvious watching these sketches who the writers prefer. Through the striking lack of knowledge on other candidates, the lazy jokes, and shit like this.
Elect me. It's that simple. You can trust this face. This is me on LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, and michaelscraftstore.com.
It's obvious who the writers are trying to prop up and who they're less likely to pick on. And that's not how a sketch like this should work. Everybody needs to be made fun of at an equal amount. I mean, come on, just look at this. None of this makes sense. And the writers deign to pick one candidate to go easy on, which is another way to not make any real jokes. Look, I know this could be twisted to sound like I'm some Ben Shapiro chud who's all bent out of range that they're picking on my candidate or whatever, and that's not what I want. What I want is to laugh at real jokes made about every candidate on stage, not just half or a few. Political candidates are inherently goofy and absurd. These are people who spend 2 years or so jockeying to be put in charge of us, who constantly fuck up all the time and do stupid shit. Make fun of them. Look, I'm a liberal guy. I am. I understand the show's writers are probably liberals too. Most creative people tend to be. I just want something more evergreen, more inclusive. Comedy shouldn't be picking favorites. Anything in the world is open to be made fun of and pointed at. And in this case, SNL isn't using their power to make fun of these candidates to their highest potential. So I'm just editing the video here in my kitchen right now. I didn't really want to show my face during it, just I really wanted a video essay kind of feel to it, you know? So I didn't really want to be a big part of it myself, other than like my voice and everything, but just to get this out faster, I have something that I absolutely need to include in the video that I need to show you. I'm just gonna let it speak for itself. I can't play the audio because I don't want to get copyrighted, but you have to see this, and it kind of just proves my point even more. I'm just gonna talk over this like this. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're well. I hope you guys haven't like caught any like weird sicknesses or anything that's going on, you know, right now. Don't catch anything. unless it comes to the subject of my next point. God, fuck these writers for making me write so much. My hands are tired. Look, I know I just advocated for the writers on SNL to make fun of everyone at an equal rate. I know I said I was liberal. I know this might come off as a little hypocritical, and it might seem like a bit of a hot take, but the biggest reason why SNL has been so bad at politics lately is the overuse of Trump as a punchline. That may sound like blasphemy. I, like many others, do not like our current president and don't mind making fun of him from time to time. But SNL has taken our dead weight of a president and beaten him into more and more into the dead horse he already was in the world of comedy. It just feels like every week with this shit. It's predictable at this point, and one of the key pillars of successful comedy is unpredictability. Almost every cold open feels like it's going to be some sort of rehashed reenactment of whatever Trump news happened a week earlier. The Democratic primary sketch I talked about earlier was actually somewhat of a reprieve from all of this. SNL has become so reliant on Trump news from the week for their cold open that it's become predictable with what the show will start off with. There's no fun, no surprise as to how the show will begin. We already know how it's going to have something to do with our president, and what's likely is the only reason the show did anything different by starting off with the New Hampshire primary a couple weeks ago was that they couldn't get Alec Baldwin going that week. Again, I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm far from it, but I am a fan of comedy, and constantly using the same predictable joke like Trump doesn't make good comedy. Comedy relies on the element of surprise. You're not supposed to know what's coming next. That's the point. When every week you know the joke will be Trump, and the jokes going along with Trump will be the same. Ha ha, he eats hamburgers. He is dumb and fat. Ha ha. It gets tired really fast, and it's made SNL tired for the past 4 years or so. This also goes along with what I was saying earlier. The show should be making fun of everybody, not just one person or a few specific people. There's so much craziness going on in the world of politics, and also in the realms of entertainment news and sports news, and just out in the world. It's a little disheartening to see the same tired cold open every week, with the same tired Alec Baldwin impression and the overuse of his Trump as the punchline. Of course, Trump should not be saved from constant ridicule, but the show should be trying to do different things instead of relying on the same tired joke. So where can the show go from here? Again, election years are normally huge for SNL. Getting rid of politics altogether likely is not an option, and just looking at the YouTube view count on these political sketches proves that point further. And look, the show is not completely devoid of humor during these skits. I'd be lying if I said this line didn't make me chuckle.
Yeah, the folks at Disney tried out Fast Pass in hell before it went to Orlando. Frankly, a lot of stuff in Orlando started out right here in hell.
Sadly, the show probably won't improve from this point on, as the show has shown no inclination to do so outside of a couple well-written lines. None of these sketches have any inkling that there's at least one clever person behind the scenes. I have zero hope that this show can get its act together, use the cast's full array of talent, write clever sketches, and stop relying on Donald Trump as the punchline to every joke. And you know what? That's okay, because there are other avenues for political comedy than Saturday Night fucking Live. Last week, Tonight with John Oliver and Late Night with Seth Meyers are just a few shows that constantly write smart political comedy in a similar amount of time that SNL gets every week to do so. SNL just doesn't have the talent, know-how, or guile to write smart political comedy anymore. Unless you go on your mom's Facebook and you see her links to every SNL cold open, saying that it was the funniest thing she's ever seen, and SNL really showed it to that orange Cheeto. And all these points have been made moot.